Friends and comrades, Jai Bhim. Normally, when we come from Tamil Nadu to Patna, we take Ganga Kaveri Express. Nowadays, I don't take any train. I have the Alauddin's Wonderland. I only say Jai Bhim. That takes me to Calcutta, to Kannur, Kochi, to Vijayawada, everywhere. The word Jai Bhim has become a wonder word now today, and therefore I am thankful. Today being the Constitution Day, I will not enter into any controversy as to whether the police is acting fine or whether the judiciary is failing. But the Constitution makes me to think two things. The first time I came to Bihar was in 1987 when I was a member of the Bar Council, and the bar here in Ranchi organized all India seminar on the constitutional amendment. And then I landed in now what is known as the Birsa Munda Airport. Today I have landed in Lok Nayak Jayaprakash Narayan Airport. There is a connection between the two. From the colonial days, when there was a tribal resistance to the free India, we continue to have a resistance. This is the constitutional message. And we be driven out, people exploited this country, and we have also tried to fight out those forces which are trying to eat up this country. And therefore, the connection between the two airports is the journey which is shown in the film Jai Bhim. It is a tribal resistance against state violence. It also shows not individual success, individual adventurism. It also shows the tribal people take into an organization and then form an association, take to the streets with their own demands. That is the most important message of this. There is also another message in this film. When you see the tribal woman come to the court, she puts her left hand thumb impression in the court papers. In the end of the film, her daughter sits comfortably in a chair in the office of the lawyer and reads newspaper. The journey from illiteracy to literacy, asatoma to tamasoma, lead me to light. That is the only way we can get out of this mess that we are faced with. And when I talk about Bihar, my heart really goes to the people of Bihar, because I knew that when you talk about the Constitution, there are many things from Bihar we have to learn, and that I want to talk about it today. If there is no Justice Prabhat Shankar Misra from Patna, there is no Jai Bhim story at all. It was Justice Misra who came to Chennai, took charge as a Madras High Court judge in 1990. Till then we had judges also. In fact, our High Court was established in 1862. We had many judges who come and gone. 156 years of history. But this one man, Misra, changed the direction of the court. You can ask me how one man can change. It is not lawyer Chandru who changed this story. In 1990, when Misra took over Madras High Court Judge, he decided to put the uniformed forces to their place. He decided to enforce rule of law at all costs. And then there were several cases of third degree methods, torture, encounter, death, several stories. And then he used the constitutional power to put them to their places. And that's how we got the story of Jai Bhim. I've always gone in press. I've always told every press interviews, but for Misra, this case would not have ended in success. And what did he do? Did he rewrite the Constitution? Was not the Constitution before him or after him also? Were not judges before him and after him? What is required is a commitment to the Constitution. What we require is the committed judges. When I say committed judges, people will think it's a dirty word. Commitment to the Constitution is not a dirty word, it's a proper word. When we take office, we take oath of office under Schedule 3 of the Constitution. I'll uphold this Constitution without fear or favor. But often what happens is the opposite. And when you come to Bihar, I want to tell you, this is a land of Buddha. what connection Buddha has got to Constitution, you may ask me. We were in law college, were taught Constitution. The first preamble we read today as a oath, the preamble of the Constitution, liberty, fraternity, equality. We were all told by our teachers, these are all drawn from the French Revolution. That's how our teachers are telling. Until we start reading Dr. Ambedkar, whose selected writings and speeches are available today, thanks to the Maharashtra government, published the entire book. If anybody wants to read, one of the speech he made in the All India Radio in 1954, he said that these three words are given by my Guru, Lord Buddha. I have only taken from the Dhamma, the Sangha. I have not borrowed it from French Revolution. How many of us know that the preamble to the Constitution were inspired by the teachings of Buddha, which teachings were grown, nurtured in this land of Bihar? And therefore we should also understand that the India is fertile by the Ganges and Kaveri. In fact, Justice Krishna here, whose picture also you can see in the court scene. When the lawyer is arguing, you can see in the court hall. That is the court hall number 3 of the Madras High Court that was recreated by the production team. And when they put the pictures of various judges, I told them, Krishna here did not belong to Tamil Nadu, though he studied law in Tamil Nadu, but he belonged to Kerala. So I told them, here is a man who brought some sanity to the judiciary, who brought new direction to the judiciary, and therefore his picture should be there in the court hall. So if you see some mistakes in the film, one mistake will be Krishna's picture in the court hall. That was my request because he was my mentor. Today you find from Bihar, I remember in 1976, there was an incident in Belchi. Many of you might have not born that time, 45 years ago. Several scheduled caste people were burned by the vested interests of the landlords of this state. That was in 1976. When I became a student in 1968, a similar incident took place in my state, where I come from, East Tanjavur, which is a delta district, where 44 scheduled caste people were burned to death only because they were demanding 25 paise increase in their wages. They were burned to death. That for the first time shocked our conscience. That people can be burned because they are asking for something more. And none of the papers in India wrote about that. That's the most important thing. There was very little coverage in the press. Contrary to that, New York Times covered that news. Because it shocked the world also, that people can be burned like cattle, like the firewood. That for the first time made me to change from some nameless political following to a conscious political line. I became an activist in the student movement. That is the change. I was following these two incidents, Belchi and Kilvalmani. Both had a common denominator, burning of people. When Belchi took place in 1976, Mrs. Gandhi came here to Patna, could not reach Belchi. She was even traveling in an elephant. That drew the attention of the whole world. That Belchi incident became a very important issue. But ultimately, after several years, you will find the perpetrators of violence against the scheduled caste people, they were all acquitted by the high courts, respective high courts. At least in Bihar case, they were acquitted by the Supreme Court. That was very shocking because we had a very insensitive judiciary. In fact, in Tamil Nadu case, when these people were burnt to death, they were taking kerosene and a haystack and the fire. Everything was taken by the landlord's cars. And then they were burned. When the matter came to the High Court, the judges wrote in the judgment, we don't believe that the landlords will supply and do all this. They may do through their henchmen, but the landlord himself would not be there. In that case, the landlord was the first accused. He was acquitted by two honorable judges of the Madras High Court. Why I want to say all this was that it is not as if violence is only from police stations. Violence are also sometimes condoned by the judiciary. Sorry for saying all this in front of a judge. I can say everything because I am no longer in the judiciary. But I want to tell you that after this incident, after seeing this film, our Chief Minister wrote a letter to the production team. He said, if there is a honest police officer and a courageous lawyer and a judge with integrity, we can stop many of these atrocities. He has said that on record. This is what I want to emphasize. When we talk about Constitution Day or a law day, whatever you say, that we need to have every constitutional organ to be part of the rule of law. There is no exception. And that is time and place, we have at least some chance of coming to certain amount of sanity. Not that it's going to change the characters of all this, the existing social setup, that the Mulwasis, that the tribals of this country are going to have liberation. Not that. But at least to some extent, you can put some of this into some fence or some leash. In Tamil Nadu, in 1958, I tell you, a government servant cannot be in politics. The first judgment of the Supreme Court in 1958, if you read in the law report, Balakotaya versus Railways, they said either you be a government servant or you be a trade union leader, you can't have both. That was reversed in a Bihar case in 1962, in Kameshwar Prasad case. That the government servant can be in service, he can also have a constitutional other rights of a right to protest. So this is how the law gets developed. Law is not what is written in the Constitution is not the law only. The law is interpreted by the judges, interpreted in such a way that each judge puts a mark in the Constitution. In fact, one DMS Namboodiripad, a leader of the Marxist Party and a Chief Minister of Kerala, said that the judiciary cannot rise above the economic interests of the society. Promptly, a contempt petition was filed. He was convicted by the Kerala High Court. Matter came to Supreme Court. Supreme Court judges very, very curiously wrote that DMS Namboodiripad does not know Marxism. Marx never said that the judicial interest will be subordinate to economic interest. Actually, it was all rewritten the Marxism. But whatever it is, today many people are also saying openly that the judiciary cannot rise above certain level because it is also conditioned. That it is in that way, Kameshwar Prasad case was an advancement. A constitutional bench said a government servant can have both. You can't have a choice of one or the other. But later we find in 2002, Mrs. Jayalalitha, Chief Minister of our state, in one day, in one stroke of a pen, 200,000 government servants are dismissed. No inquiry, no charge sheet. And when matter came to court, Madras High Court dismissed it. I have no power to deal with this. 200,000 people dismissed on one writing, and court refused to interfere. Will you call this as a very conscious exercise of the power, or the upholding the Constitution because they have been vested to deal with the Constitution? That is why I am saying, every day when we take oath of office under the Constitution, we are trying to reinvent, at least re-agitate the constitutional values, not only among ourselves, among every section of the people. That is why it has been a public debate on this, or a public function on this, that every section should take, I will defend. This film, if at all, it shows one thing.